The Golden State Warriors have been the most polarizing team for the past 5 years. In 2015, they were able to make it to the NBA Finals and face off with the Cavaliers super team that consisted of LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. They were able to dismantle the Cavs and acquire their first championship since 1975. From that point, they embarked on a conquest to become a dynasty. The Warriors were praised with admiration for their consistency, but was also ridiculed at the same time. Some analysts compared them to a new and improved version of the Spurs based on the way they valued and dominated with team basketball. However, for others, they were considered a cheat code that was ruining the competitive nature of the game. It was no fun watching them after a while because we all knew they were going to win. It was like high school players going up against preschool toddlers. It was just unfair. You either loved the fact that they were a great team or hated the fact that they dominated the league to comical proportions. Nevertheless, during this 5-year span, the Warriors were able to garner 3 championships and break many team and league records. For example, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson broke all types of three-pointer records, becoming the first backcourt duo to score more than 600 three-point field goals in a single season. Even Draymond Green got in on the fun, becoming the first player to have recorded 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, 500 assists, 100 blocks, and 100 steals in a single season. I mean, they were rolling. It seemed like the glory train would never stop. However, all good things must come to an end, and the Warriors were no exception. As the success grew, egos, feelings of not being accepted, internal rifts, and injuries grew along with it. The downfall started with the team's GM, Bob Myers, making a bad joke about Durant's next contract, for which I believe KD took to heart. This led into rumors of him departing the Warriors in free agency. Then things took a turn for the worse when the public argument between Draymond and KD happened during that infamous game at the Staples Center versus the Clippers, where allegedly Green called KD an explicit and told him that the Warriors didn't need him and that they had already acquired a championship without him. Now, from the viewer standpoint, that night revealed the chinks in the Warriors' armor, which inevitably eroded right before our eyes as stories began to circulate more and more about the internal dysfunction. The team's morale started to decline, and so did players as one by one members went down with injuries, and the Warriors had nothing left during the finals, costing them what would have been their 3rd consecutive championship and the three-peat that would have crowned them a true dynasty. Thenceforth, the 2019 free agency started, and KD was gone. Signing with the Brooklyn Nets and teaming up with Kyrie Irving, KD wanted to prove that he can get it done on his own team. Meanwhile, the Warriors were marred with injuries and unable to put their key starters on the floor for the following season. The Warriors ended up with the worst record in the league at 15-50. But with every setback, there's always a comeback, and the Warriors are lucked up. Having the worst record in the league, they managed to get the 2nd overall pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, which gives them a second chance at becoming a true dynasty. And some analysts are saying that they will trade the pick for a star piece that can bring them back to the promised land, and I believe they can get this done. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you a few players I think the Warriors should be targeting in this year's free agency to focus on bolstering their depth for when they trade that pick and get that star. So without further ado, these are the players the Warriors should be going out to get for free agency. First up, Christian Wood. So we all know the Warriors need more defense as well as a strong presence in the offensive paint. And Christian Wood is a remedy for those issues on both ends of the floor. He has the ability to draw the defense into the paint, which would create more perimeter spacing, while also making the offense think twice before driving in the lane when he's patrolling the paint. This season, Wood put up some good numbers given the limited time he had on the court. According to ESPN, he shot the ball at 56% from the field and averaged around 13 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 1 block with only 21 minutes per game. And that's not bad for a bench player. Now, granted, these numbers don't jump off the page, but believe me when I tell you, Wood is on the rise. He's only 25, which is still relatively young. He's been in the league for 3 years and has already been on 5 different teams. Now, with all those different teams, one would think, how is he on the rise? but that's just it. Throughout his journey, the stats prove that when he gets more minutes, his numbers go up at a considerable rate. And based on the eyeball test, he has defended and held his own against some of the best players in the league. He has great footwork and hands on defense, and a nice touch at the rim on offense. He's able to score in the paint, no problem, so don't let the skinny frame fool you. He also can hit spot-up threes if you give him the space. Wood can play either the power forward position or the center position respectively. So I feel like he would be a perfect six-man type of player if the Warriors are able to pick up a Joel Embiid or a Karl Anthony Towns when they trade that pick. So he's been bounced around the league a few times, and now he's an unrestricted free agent. The Pistons are definitely going to offer him a contract, but if he decides that he wants to leave the Pistons to go to a contender, the Warriors should be able to offer him a nice contract and still have cap space left over for the other free agents. Next up is Fred VanVleet. Now, Fred could possibly be the steal of this year's free agency if the Raptors don't decide to pick him back up. A lot of teams are vying for his services after the performance he gave in the regular season and the postseason. Now, first off, he's a champion. He knows what it takes to make a deep playoff run and has showed that he can be a big contributor in crunch time, which is something all contending teams want. He is an offensive threat, averaging 40% from the field and shooting the three at 39%. It's easy for him to get to the basket and create his own shot, so it comes to no surprise that he was the points leader for the Raptors this postseason. He also does a good job on defense. He averaged 4.4 rebounds and 1.6 steals last season. He's able to get into those passing lanes. He's good in the passing lanes, and he's actually good on one-on-one. Like, he on ball, he has defensive. He can get them steals. He can get you plucked. Now, I'm just going to be honest here. It's going to be hard for the Warriors to be able to acquire Fred VanVleet just based on the postseason that he had and the season in general. He played like he knew it was his contract year, and the stats showed it. So if the Warriors offer him a contract, they're going to have to come to terms with two main issues: his salary and coming off the bench as a sixth man and substitute for Klay Thompson. And lastly, we have Jeremy Grant. He's probably the most versatile player in this year's free agency pool. According to ESPN, he led the Denver Nuggets in blocks for both regular and postseason. He averaged around 12 points per game, shooting 48% from the field and 40% from three in the regular season. For the postseason, his numbers actually went down around to 11.6 points per game, shooting 41% from the field and 33% from three. Aside from the stats, Grant has great footwork, length, and hands, which allows him to guard 1 through 5, making him a very good asset to have on defense. On the offensive side, he has developed into a pretty good spot-up shooter. If you leave him open on the perimeter, he'll definitely knock down the three ball. And he's also able to finish at the rim as well. Now, the Warriors could definitely pick him up on a manageable contract. He recently just renounced his player option, so he's going to be looking for an increase in salary, but his postseason performance should make it affordable for the Warriors. Plus, he would benefit more by being on the Warriors. His defense will stand out and develop better. He'll also get a lot more open three-point opportunities because with Steph and Klay back, the defense is going to be more drawn to them on the perimeter, so that'll be a good look for him as well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are the players I believe the Warriors should be picking up during free agency. They are definitely some of the most defensive players that we have in this year's free agency pool. They're going to bolster that depth off the bench, and I just believe they can make it work with any type of salary for these guys. I think these guys are affordable, and the Warriors can make it work. So yeah, man, don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, and just let me know in the comments, who do you guys think the Warriors should actually be picking up? If you have a different opinion on mine, let me know what you feel about my opinion. I definitely do read the comments, so that'll be something I'm looking forward to. So yeah, man. And as always, this is the 2 cent toll, and I just gave you my 2 cents. So peace out. Till next time. Bye.